Hey everyone, welcome back to On Purpose, the #1 health podcast in the world. Thanks to each and every one of you that come back every week to become happier, healthier, and more healed. Now, you know, my favorite thing in life is sitting down with people who are able to be open, vulnerable, and honest about their experiences in a way that we can all learn from, in a way that we can all feel inspired by and empowered by in our own lives. And today's guest is someone who has a new memoir out. Now, I've read this memoir cover to cover, and I can honestly tell you, it is one of the most authentic, open, genuine accounts that I feel allows someone to claim back their narrative. And I recommend you read it as well. And I'm going to tell you who I'm sitting down with today. I have the fortune and honor of sitting down with the one and only Paris Hilton, CEO, New York Times bestselling author, philanthropist, DJ, designer, recording artist, actress, host, model, and influencer. Paris has defined and dominated pop culture, commanding her position as one of the most recognizable faces on the planet. I grew up watching her, so I know very well. Paris has masterfully harnessed her self-made spotlight to architect a thriving entertainment and consumer products empire, which spans an impressive range of businesses and verticals, including TV, film, audio, music, publishing, licensing, consumer products, brand partnerships, and so many more. In 2006, she created Paris Hilton Entertainment, a multi-billion-dollar company consisting of 45 branded stores, 19 product lines, and 29 fragrances that has amassed over $4 billion in revenue. In 2001, Variety declared Paris Hilton as a billion-dollar entrepreneur in recognition of her successful business and global brand. Paris' new book is out now. It's called Paris, the Memoir. I literally just finished reading it. And today we have Paris Hilton in the studio. Paris, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction.
Oh, I meant it. And congratulations. You know, whenever I sit down with someone who's written a memoir, and I want everyone who's listening to really understand this, because I think people see memoirs coming out and they see books coming out, and you kind of think like, oh yeah, someone's just telling their story. And I think what I found really fascinating about yours is I can't imagine how hard it was to retell so many of these stories and to relive so many of them. And I just wanted to thank you for being able to go there so many times, because I think even though, as in your own words, where people may think that they don't relate to you, I actually think that the stories you tell are so much more relatable than people would expect. And I just want to thank you for sharing them so vulnerably.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was definitely very difficult and emotional, but extremely just therapeutic. Just putting it all out there, because it's so much that I've held on to for so long, and so many things that I've never told anyone, like things I've never even wanted to say out loud because I didn't even want to think that they were real. But it's just been the most healing experience of my life.
So you feel it's actually been healing, even though it was uneasy?
Yes.
It's actually been something that has been therapeutic. It's been healthier than unhealthy. Were there parts where you're like, oh gosh, I just need a break from this?
Definitely. So many parts, just because I've been through so many traumatic experiences in my life. So just to have to write them down, and then doing the audiobook was even harder, having to say things out loud, especially in a room with 3 strangers I've never met before and having to tell my story. But I'm so happy that I did my audiobook as well, because I think it's important for people to hear the story from the person who wrote it.
Yeah, that's such a great point too. Even having to say it out loud for yourself. I think so many of us, we hold our truth so deeply buried inside of us, and we might think it, but we never actually speak it out loud. And that's such a great example. I never thought about it like that. I think the other thing before we dive in, I wanted to mention, which I loved about your memoir, is you were so phenomenally observant. I almost feel like you had a hawk eye, where like you're able to like find all these details. You're incredibly smart, like phenomenally like astute at just spotting these tiny details and patterns and connections and the stories you tell and the history you tell. And I really enjoyed it. I literally felt like you were talking to me, and I read it. I didn't listen to it. And now I'll have to listen to it, but I read it and I literally felt like I was like this talking to you.
Yes.
Thank you. So it's hard to do that. It's hard to pull that off. So I just want everyone to know who's going to read it that you're really going to feel that. Where I wanted to start was, You talked a lot about how, and I think this is completely true, you said most of us regret things that we didn't do, not things that we did do. But you said in your 20s, there are a few things you do regret. And I was wondering, were there regrets that you did do or didn't do, and what were they?
For me, I feel that everything that I've done in life has made me who I am. And I'm such a strong person. And especially after writing this book and just seeing my life story and everything that I've been through, I feel that I don't have regrets in life because it's made me the woman I am today.
What made you say that chapter? That I think you were just like, I've got a couple of regrets. Like, even if there were silly ones, like, I'm guessing there weren't any big
Just
ones.
relationships. Like, I wish I didn't meet certain people. Like, I wish I didn't let certain people in my life that shouldn't have been in my life, people with bad intentions. Because especially growing up, was just always just so trusting of everyone and would let anyone in. And there's so many people who just didn't deserve that.
Do you think you've got better at assessing and evaluating energy and intentions around you because of all your bad and negative experiences, as you're saying? Do you feel like you've found a better radar, or is it just something that we all keep making mistakes on because it's so hard? Because what I read is you want to be a trusting person, you want to be a loving person, you want to feel loved, like we all do. But have you found that you've got better at it? And if so, what would you say you've got better at in terms of sensing people's energy and intention?
I think in the beginning, I was just unexperienced in life. So I really didn't know. And I had been through so much in life. So I think I was just, after the trauma that I experienced as a teenager, I was not, I don't know, I think in the right headspace to make decisions on being in a relationship. Like the first person I started a relationship with, I was not ready for that. And because of so many things that happened to me, my heart just had this huge wall around it for a very long time. And so many things that happened that it made me not trust anyone. And it wasn't until with my husband that I had those walls come down and I actually let someone in. But that took me a very long time, just from so many life experiences that made me that way.